Hello everyone, welcome to Aptipus Academy for Soul Sources, a premier institution for preparing for soul sources in India. Today, I'm here for a daily news and editorial analysis from The Hindu and Indian Express. And in this editorial analysis, we are going to cover the three most important topics that appeared in the Hindu and Indian Express in the past 3 days. And these editorial analysis has been designed as per the syllabus of UPSC prelims, mains, and interview process. And this editorial analysis is going to be important for all the government exams in India, apart from the UPSC exam. So, without further delay, let us begin the analysis. And before I start the analysis, I want all you to answer this question. And this question is about the topic that we are going to discuss today. And the question is: consider the following statements regarding the Goldman Environmental Prize. And the statement one is: the prize was established in 1989 by the Global Environmental Forum. And the statement two is: the winners are chosen by a jury from the Global Environment Forum. And the statement three is: the prize recognizes the environmental leaders only from the islands and island nations. How many of the above statements are correct? So you have to answer this question based on the editorial discussion that we are going to do today. And the first topic of discussion for today is about the move towards the technological supremacy. So this topic appeared in the Indian Express explained section, and topic basically talks about the technological supremacy that the countries are trying to acquire. Basically, many countries are trying to be a technological supremacy in today's era. And in this topic, we'll analyze how countries are taking their steps to move towards the technological supremacy. And this topic is basically important for the UPSC mains. And major global powers such as the United States, China are basically increasing their technological investment in the various sectors to move towards the technological supremacy. And you can see the newspaper cutting here. And the topic is basically move towards the technological supremacy. And many countries, including India, recognize the role of technology in shaping the future course of their countries. And it is evident from the basic initiatives that the countries has taken. For instance, China's technological ambitions are very large, and China is aggressively pursuing technological dominance. And this is evident from China's emphasis on mastering new productive forces. And China, as we all know, had been basically a labor intensive sector. And because the China has the world's largest population as per the census of 2011 and before that. But currently, as per the United Nations Population Fund Agency, India has surpassed China to be the world's largest population. But nowadays, China has been trying to move away from the labor intensive sector to the technology intensive economy. And for this reason, China is basically trying to invest more and more in the technological sector. So China is actively moving away from the intensive production of from the last century, and reduction in reliance on the foreign technologies and full control over the productive forces. So China is also trying to build their own economy in such a way that they do not rely on the foreign technology. Okay, so this is how the China is trying to conquer the technological field. And they have various initiatives which is in accordance with the Xi Jinping's vision of the China's technological supremacy in 2030. And US also has the vision of being the technological supremacy in the world. For instance, the Infrastructure Investment Act, the CHIPS Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act of US are basically aimed at renewing the American leadership in the advanced technologies. So these acts all are aimed towards US becoming a world superpower in terms of technology. And it has sought to limit the support of US capital to Chinese technological development. So basically, US has taken initiatives to ban the imports of the technological investments from China. So the investments are being prevented by the various act which is being made by US. And the US is also trying to develop new global technology coalitions. For instance, with US, India has made coalitions in the quadrilateral forum. For instance, the Australia, India, and Japan, along with US, has been collaborating with other countries in the quadrilateral forum. And there is Chip 4 Alliance, and Chip 4 Alliance between US and three leading semiconductor producers such as Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan has been taking initiatives to make countries reliant on the semiconductor products. And for this reason, the US is trying to invest more and more in the chip sector and the semiconductor fabrication sectors as well. And the European Union also has taken various initiatives. For instance, the European Union has called for strengthening the Europe's industrial and technological sovereignty and closing the gap with the US and China. So European Union, the initiative of European Union or the vision of European Union is different from US, because the European Union is trying to move away not only from China but also from dependence on the US. And most importantly, the vision of the India's technological development is important, because in every answer writing you have to quote the India. And the India's vision is very important, because specifically in UPSC means the vision of India is asked. And the initiatives that the India has taken so far as the technological development is concerned has been asked in various UPSC means exams. And for this reason, technological development that India has taken is important. And India has incorporated the science and technology into developmental strategy, leveraging the digital technologies, renewable energy, semiconductor productions, etc. And technology is also integral part of the foreign policy of India. For instance, Australia India Strategic Resource Fund AISRF, which is aimed to focus on the technological development and collaborate with India and the Australian universities and the academias for the research field. And the India Singapore joint working group on fintech is also another initiative that India has taken with the Singapore. And the India Israel Industrial R&D and Technological Innovation Fund, which is I4F, is also an important initiative. And the US India Science and Technology Endowment Fund is another initiative. So these are all the initiatives that India has taken at the global level. So India is not only building robust economy in home, but India is also collaborating with the other countries to develop the technological superpower in India itself. So for this reason, these points are important. And the government of India has taken various initiatives to ensure its global position in technological domain. And government initiatives include the India's semiconductor mission. So this was launched in 2021, and it is part of semiconductor comprehensive program for the development of sustainable semiconductor display ecosystems in the country. So this is an important point. And India AI mission is another important mission that India has taken so far as the artificial intelligence is concerned. And with an allocation of over 10,300 crore. So this is the amount of allocation that has been made in the India AI mission, which aims to strengthen India's AI ecosystem through the initiatives like AI computing infrastructure, innovation centers, data sets platforms, and application development. So this is an important mission so far as India's technological drive is concerned. And DigiLocker is another initiative, and this is basically a free, secure, and online platform that allows users to store, share, and verify documents and certificates in the cloud. So this is also part of Digital India program. So this is an important initiative. And another important initiative is Unified Payment Interface, and this is basically an initiative of NPCI. And NPCI is basically a statutory body which was made under the Payment and Settlement Act of 2007. Okay, so you have to remember that this is a statutory body, not an executive body. And the mission on advanced and high impact research, which is Mahir, this was launched in 2023 only. So this is a recent initiative, and this initiative focuses on power sector. Okay, so this initiative is important. The sector is important where it is applicable. and it aims to accelerate research development and demonstration of cutting edge technologies like clean energy solutions and smart grids. Okay, so the energy requirement of India is growing every day. So India is aiming to become self-sufficient in energy sector, and it is almost so far as the energy sector is concerned. India is self-reliant in terms of energy so far as today is concerned. So India is trying to build a robust economy based on the renewable energy sector. So for this reason, this Mahir initiative is important. So this is an important. You have to remember the year and the sectors as well. Okay, and the next initiative is PLI scheme, which is production linked incentive scheme. Okay, so this initiative is important. We discussed about it. The government has introduced PLI scheme for various sectors like semiconductors and electronic manufacturing. Okay, and you should also know about the national supercomputing mission. So national supercomputing mission is basically the first of its kind attempt to boost the country's computing power. So it is steered jointly by the Department of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Science and Technology, and it is implemented by CDAC. Okay, so you have to remember the institutions and the bodies which are implementing this mission. Take a national computing mission. You have to remember this, and this was all about the government of initiative India's initiatives, or government of India's initiatives towards the technological drive. And you have to know all the points, and the challenges are also there because the digital penetration in India is also very low. Okay, you have to know that the Oxfam inequality report shows that the 70% of the poor people do not have the internet and communication technology. So this is given by the Oxfam report. So as per Oxfam report, the India's penetration of the internet and communication technology is very low, and only 2.7% of poorest have the computers. Only 2.7% of the India's poorest have the computers. So this is also an important challenge, and there is also lack of technological development and skill development in India, and there is lack of R&D. Okay, so India में R&D में investment is very meager, that is around 0.6% or 6% only. So these are all challenges that India face so far as the technological development is concerned. And next topic of discussion for today is the Street Vendors Act, and this act basically came into effect in May 1 2014, and this act was a landmark act of the government of India because this act came after nearly 4 decades of legal battles that the people fought for the lives of the street vendors and the protection of street vendors. However, much celebrated as progressive legislation, this act now faces many challenges and in its implementation. And example, in some cities, vendors' access to vending certificates has been delayed due to administrative bottlenecks. Okay, so various issues are being faced by the vendors in the India. So for this reason, we need to understand what is the Street Vendors Act, its provisions, etc. So UPSC may especially the provisions of various acts is asked, how the acts basically are implemented in India, and what are the implementation status of various acts are asked. So this news also appeared in the Hindu. Okay, so the significance of Street Vendors Act. So street vendors are estimated to constitute about 2.5% of cities population. Okay, so street vendors are huge in number in cities, and this is around 2.5%. And the local vegetable sellers and food vendors are essential providers of daily services, and vending offers many migrants and the urban poor to source modest yet consistent income. So they provide the consistent incomes to the vendors. Okay, and the vendors also make city life affordable for others by providing vital links in food, nutrition, and goods distribution. So they also provide the valuable food chain to the people in the cities, and they are also integral to the Indian culture, contributing to iconic dishes like Mumbai's vada pav, Chennai's dosai, etc. Okay, so these are all important examples you can quote. So they are also contributing to the Indian culture, Indian cuisine. Okay, so you have to remember these significance. And the key provisions of the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation Act of 2014 are the definition of the act. So the act basically defines the street vendors as the uh, person who sells goods or provides the services on the street, footpath, or any other public space. So you have to know the provisions of the act. Especially the provisions have been asked in various exams, in various stages of UPSC exam, and in the especially UPSC mains. The provisions of the acts are asked, so you have to know each points or each provisions of the act. And the protection of the livelihood. Okay, so street vendors have the right to carry out the trade or business without the harassment or arbitrary eviction by the authorities. So they have been given certain rights. And registration of street vendors. So street vendors are required to be registered within the town vending committee. So they have to register themselves within the TVCs as well. So TVCs are also legally recognized under this act, and the TVC oversees the regulation of street vending activities and ensures the compliance with the provisions of the act. Okay, so you have to know this point. And the identification of vending zones. The act mandates the identification of vending zones or areas where the vending or the street vending can take place. So the vending zones where the street vendors can make stalls has been also provided under this act. So they cannot make the stalls everywhere in the city. So vending zones also have been provided. And the licensing and regulation. The street vendors need to obtain vending certificate or license from the local authorities to operate in designated vending zones. Okay, so they have to get the certificate or the vending certificate as well. But this is also another challenge, because the vending certificate is not being issued on time by the local authorities. So that is causing another problem on the vending people or the street vendors. The act also specifies the conditions and criteria for issuing licenses and regulates the number of vendors in particular area to prevent the overcrowding. So this is also another challenge. And the protection against the eviction. Okay, so the street vendors cannot be evicted from their vending spaces without the process and the consultation with the town vending committees. So town vending committees has an important role in the registration as well as the eviction. And the eviction can only occur under the specific circumstances, such as the public emergency or the infrastructure development projects, or the vendors are entitled to compensation or alternative spaces. So arbitrary eviction has been prohibited under this act. And the social security and welfare measures. The act also provides for the implementation of social security and welfare schemes for the street vendors, including the access to healthcare, education, and financial assistance. So street vendors also have been provided with the social security and welfare measures. And participatory governance. So act establishes the participatory governance structures, such as the town vending committees. So in this town vending committees, the street vendor representatives are also there, which constitutes around 40% of the members. And the 33% of the representation in this town vending committees are women. So this is also an important provision that you need to know. And as we were discussing the challenges in the Street Vendors Act of 2014, so we'll again discuss them in detail. There are many challenges that the Street Vendors Act faces. The first level of challenge that they face is at the administrative level. The street vendors frequently face harassment, extortion, and arbitrary eviction, as we just discussed, by the local authorities and law enforcement agencies, okay, undermining the spirit of the act and discouraging the vendors from operating in legal manner. So this is an important challenge. And another important challenge that they face is at the governance level. The act does not integrate well with the framework established by the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So as we all know, the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act is about the urban governance, and this aims to provide the municipalities with the local authorities. But act does not integrate well with this 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So this is an important challenge again this act faces. And the urban local bodies often lack the adequate authority and resources. And initiatives like Smart Cities Mission, which prioritizes the top-down policy directives and focus on primary infrastructure development, typically neglect this act's provision. So the Smart Cities Mission are basically implemented all over India, and there are many cities under this mission. But in these cities, the street vendors are being evicted arbitrarily. For this reason, this act is again criticized. And at the societal level, the image of world class city tends to be exclusionary, marginalizing and stigmatizing for the street vendors. At the society level as well, the people stigmatize street vendors, and they also are excluded, they are socially excluded, and there is also marginalizing tendencies. So street vendors are basically seen by the society as the hindrance to the urban progress. So this is an important point. So they are not taken as the progressive alliance in the development, but they are taken as the hindrance in the urban progress. So this again poses the challenge in the implementation of the law. You can quote various global best practices and the best practices from India itself. So these are various case studies, and case studies are very important in the UPSC mains. You can quote these case studies. For instance, Ahmedabad's street vendors livelihood protection policy. So Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation implemented a policy to regulate the street vending and to protect the livelihoods of the vendors. Okay. And the policy includes measures such as the identification of vending zones, issuance of vending licenses. So these all things has been digitized in this Ahmedabad city. So for this reason, this is an important role model for India. And there is Philippines street vendors cooperatives. So Philippines has basically made cooperatives of the street vendors, and these cooperatives basically raise their issues to the local bodies, and they collectively address the challenges and improve the livelihoods. Okay, so this is an important case study that you can quote. And third is Bogota's zoning plan for the street vendors in Colombia. So in Colombia, there is Bogota city. So in Bogota, they have basically implemented the zone planning, and they have implemented the GPS and all technologies to integrate the street vendors or a zone plan of the street vending areas. So for this reason, these things are important points of your case study. Now moving on to next topic of discussion, and this is also the last topic of discussion for today, and this topic is basically about the 2024 Goldman Prize for Asia. So the context of the news is about the Alok Shukla. So Alok Shukla, basically, who is the convenor of the Chhattisgarh Bachao Andolan and founding member of Hasdeo Aranya Bachao Sangharsh Samiti, has been awarded the 2024 Goldman Prize from Asia. So for this reason, this topic is important. We need to understand what is the Goldman Prize. We'll understand why the Alok Shukla was provided with this Goldman Prize. We'll understand his work, and his work becomes important case study for the UPSC, and this topic appeared in the Hindu. And the Goldman Environmental Foundation, which gives away this prize, recognized the Hasdeo's movement as the ability to successfully influence policy, has made it a model for the environmental justice in India, and generated an unprecedented amount of national and regional solidarity. So this is a quote, or this is the reason that the Global Environmental Foundation gave for giving this award to the Alok Shukla. So this award is basically given by the Global Environmental Foundation, and this movement that the Alok Shukla took for the rights of the people of Chhattisgarh or the Hasdeo region is important role model for the environmental justice. Okay. So background and how Alok Shukla's works led to the saving of Hasdeo's forest is that the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has declared the Hasdeo a no-go zone in the recognition of its vast biodiversity in 2010. Okay, so Hasdeo was declared a no-go zone by the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in 2010. But the declaration was never formalized into law, and successive government have attempted to jumpstart the mining operation. Okay, so this prohibition that the government of India was not made effective in the law. And between 2011 and 2015, the India's Adani Enterprises, a powerful multinational mining corporation, received permission to develop the five coal mines in the forest. So Adani Enterprises basically received license from government to develop the coal mines in the forest, and he brought all stakeholders, which is the Alok Shukla brought stakeholders from the Hasdeo region in the common platform called the Hasdeo Aranya Bachao Sangharsh Samiti. So under this platform, under this organization, he protested against the coal mines that is being developed there, and the protest by locals stalled the process of coal block auctions in 2020. So this was a first successful achievement of this initiative. And in December that year, in 2020, the center invoked the emergency provisions to move 21 coal blocks forward. So emergency provisions were also invoked by the central government, and Shukla had organized this protest during the COVID-19 pandemic of 2019. And in July 2022, and the government cancelled the 21 proposed coal mines in the Hasdeo Aranya region. So this was an important achievement of movement. And the pristine forest, popularly known as the lungs of the Chhattisgarh. So this Hasdeo Aranya is important forest, and they are called the lungs of the Chhattisgarh, are one of the largest intact forest in India. So this forest was now again saved by the movement that the Alok Shukla took. So for this reason, this movement and the achievement of these movements are very important for the UPSC case studies. And Alok Shukla led a successful community campaign that saved 4,45,000 acres of biodiversity rich forest in 21 planned local coal mines. So this is an important achievement that the Alok Shukla made in terms of saving the Hasdeo forest. So these works are recognized by the Global Environmental Foundation, and for this reason he was awarded the 2024 Goldman Prize from Asia. And about Hasdeo forest, Hasdeo is spread across 657 square miles and is one of the India's most expansive contiguous forest tracts. And the ancient forest provides the critical tiger corridor linking neighboring sanctuaries and habitats for approximately 50 endangered Asian elephants. So this forest also acts as the elephant corridor, and they also are home to 25 endangered species leopards, such as leopards, sloth bears, grey wolves, striped hyenas, bird species are also there. So this is basically a biodiversity rich region in Chhattisgarh. For this reason, it is also called the lungs of Chhattisgarh. And Hasdeo's forests are also a catchment area for the Hasdeo River. So Hasdeo River basically flows through this forest, and it is a tributary of Mahanadi. So the river is also important. This is important prelims pointer, and the river serves as the watershed for the Hasdeo Bango Reservoir, which irrigates around 7,41,000 acres of farmland. So state of Chhattisgarh, 44% of which is forested. So 44% of the Chhattisgarh's land is covered by the forest, and it is India's third largest concentration of forest. So for this reason, this saving of forest in the Chhattisgarh region was important, because this forest is also important for the biodiversity. And another important point is that 15,000 Adivasi indigenous people lives in this Hasdeo forest region. So various tribes such as the Munda, Ho, Santhal, etc. lives in this forest. So for this reason, this movement was important. So these were all important analysis of daily news and editorials from today. And we'll cover more important daily news and editorial analysis from the Saturday session. On Saturday, we'll be covering another important daily news and editorials that appeared in the Hindu and Indian Express. And today I have got an important quote of the day for you. The quote is, dreams transforms into thoughts and thoughts results into action. So this quote is very important, and this quote was given by former president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And this quote is relevant for all the UPSC aspirants and all the government jobs aspirants in India. And this quote is also can be quoted in the ethics answers and UPSC essay answer writing, etc. So this quote is self-explanatory. So with this quote, I'm concluding today's session. We'll meet again in the next video. Till then, take care.